of my reaction to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders episode 9. Once again, this is another enjoyable episode. Pretty good, not the best one I've seen so far, but the fight itself was definitely enjoyable, especially near the end with Star Platinum. When he beats the living shit out of his opponents, it never gets old. Now the episode begins with a quick little recap where it was revealed that Kakyoin might be a traitor to the group. But the episode truly begins as we see Jotaro, Kakyoin, and Anne walking outside Singapore getting some ice cream, but instead they get some coconut juice. I never tried coconut juice before, but I heard it tastes pretty good. Now before Kakyoin can pay for their drinks, a thief stole his wallet. However, he doesn't get very far as Kakyoin summons Hierophant Green to trip him. And at that moment, this is where things start to get real tense. Now in the scene where they show Kakyoin's face, he looked normal at first, but then when he got the kanji for menacing, like entering across the screen. And then that's when the color and the scene shifts into a darker tone as we see Kakyoin acting like a completely different person. Now not just his talking and the look on his face changed, he actually became more violent as he beat the living crap out of the poor thief. I know this guy was a thief, but I felt really bad for this guy. I mean, first Kakyoin grabs his head and smashes his knee right on his nose. And then he starts saying all these vulgar things to this guy, saying, "You're worth about as much as Sir Cockroach's dick." Yeah, that is definitely not the real Kakyoin. Then things start getting really violent and intense where he puts the poor guy over his shoulders, doing a backbreaker on the guy, nearly breaking the poor guy's spine, up to the point where he starts coughing up blood. Shit. Hoorah, hoorah, hoorah. Jotaro stopped him from killing the poor guy. But Kakyoin just brushes it off saying that, "Oh, I'm just punishing the guy because he was trying to steal my wallet." Yeah, that was a bit too severe for a punishment, I'm just saying. He nearly broke the poor guy's spine. So even though Jotaro knew something was up with Kakyoin, he doesn't do anything at first. So instead he walks off telling him and Anne that they're going to get some train tickets because they're going to India. Now there was a scene where these kids were looking at these 4 beetles. Kakyoin was actually staying behind. It looked like at first he was like eating or drinking something. But when he turns his face towards Anne, you see the beetle's leg in his freaking mouth. He ate the freaking bugs. That is disgusting. I mean, I know in some cultures people do eat bugs, but these bugs were living. It's just ugh. So then we cut to the 3 at a cable car station, and Kakyoin asked Jotaro if he could have his cherry that was on his ice cream cone, and then he freaking pushes Jotaro right over the freaking railing. I mean, it's lucky he grabbed onto the railing and Anne grabbed onto him too, otherwise he would have been dead. Then again, he would have used Star Platinum, so yeah. And then we get this infamous scene that a lot of JoJo fans know. I heard about this, but I never actually saw it. It is when Kakyoin, or I guess I should say fake Kakyoin, because it's freaking obvious it's the fake one. He rolls the cherry with his tongue going leo 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 leo, and then he picks up the pace going what the hell was that scene? I mean, goddamn. Also, he wasn't even eating the cherry, he was just rolling in his tongue. What's up with that? Honestly, that was actually the funniest thing I've seen in this episode. Now the weird thing is that when Kakyoin, or fake Kakyoin, picks up the cherry and actually eats it, he grew taller. But one of the cable cars was there, so Jotaro was trying to get Kakyoin onto the cable car. He assumed that he was being possessed. So he punches Kakyoin in the face, and in slow motion you see his jaw breaking. But it was censored because it looked like it was just a big black shadow on his face. Honestly, I can tolerate some of the censorship in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but this one I just didn't really get that much because I know that his jaw was nearly coming off his face, but nah, I'll let it slide because I'm kind of used to it at this point. So it turns out that Kakyoin wasn't really being possessed by anything. He still does the whole leo 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 thing with the cherry, even though his jaw was broken. It was fucking weird. What the hell? No, it turns out that this Kakyoin was one of the 7 stand users in disguise. Thus we're introduced to his stand, Yellow Temperance, based on the tarot card, the Temperance. It's basically this huge amount of yellow goop. And we actually get to see the stand user's true form, which I believe in the break sequence, his name is Rubber Soul. They actually never mention some of the stand users' names in the actual episode. It's usually in the break scenes that they mention some of their names. So Rubber Soul, what I think about him, Honestly, I don't really like the guy, but then again, it's to be expected because a lot of these guys usually appear in like one episode, so I tend not to like them unless there's something interesting about these guys. Now, Yellow Temperance's abilities. Not only does it allow its stand user to disguise into any person as he wants, but it could also attach itself to any living creature, any living being, and slowly consume that being until there's nothing left of him. And the more this blob eats, the bigger it gets, which explains why Kakyoin grew a couple of inches when he ate that cherry. Although I don't know why Jotaro didn't notice that. Now, another thing about this stand is it can be used as both offense and defense. It can protect its stand user from any attack, and in terms of offense, it can like latch onto anything. Now, when Jotaro punched the fake Kakyoin, or in this case, Rubber Soul, a piece of Yellow Temperance latched onto his pinky and is slowly starting to consume Jotaro's hand. Now, Jotaro summoned Star Platinum to try to attack Rubber Soul, but Yellow Temperance grabbed onto Star Platinum's arm as Jotaro's arm was slowly getting burned. Now, before the fight continues, we actually cut back to Anne, who's informing Joseph and Abdul about what was going on. And we actually learn what happened to the real Kakyoin. He decided to go sunbathe near the pool in his school uniform. Okay. I've heard that in the manga, it never explained where the real Kakyoin was this whole time. That kind of sucks for manga readers, so I'm really glad that the anime actually gives not only us new JoJo fans, but also the old ones as to what Kakyoin was doing this whole time. Now, I like the scenes when Jotaro was like trying to get to the ledge or trying to get to the other cable car, because he was like using Star Platinum, so I thought those scenes were pretty cool. So since Jotaro was away from Rubber Soul, he tries to stop Yellow Temperance by trying to burn it with a lighter, but that only made Yellow Temperance spread on his hand even more. So if heat didn't work, he figured why not cold, as he used a kid's popsicle to freeze Yellow Temperance when he got to the next cable car, but the yellow goop just created needles and digged deeper into his hand. So neither heat nor cold can work on this thing. Now, the next cable car he was on, inside was this little boy, his pet dog, his father, and this one woman. And it turns out this woman was really Rubber Soul this whole time in disguise. Okay, this is where I was really confused, because when did he get to the next cable car? Maybe he got there, like, right after he was taunting Jotaro, like while Jotaro was at the ledge. I mean, it's not just when he got to the next cable car, but like how did he get there? Maybe he used Yellow Temperance to like latch onto the cable car. I don't freaking know. That's like one of the parts that kind of confused me in this episode. Rubber Soul informed Jotaro back in the previous scene when they were in the first cable car that his stand has no weaknesses. It's a really unique, interesting stand, which even Jotaro acknowledges that this might be one of the strongest stands that he's ever faced so far. I gotta agree with him, because this stand is very unique, it's very interesting, it's very hard to get rid of. We get this one scene which is kind of heartbreaking in a way, and I was warned by the anime hero that we're gonna get a lot of animal abuse in this one. Yellow Temperance then starts to slowly consume the poor little puppy. And I wish they didn't really say his name, because his name was Pocky. I really hate it when animals get senselessly killed. And I know there are gonna be a lot of that in this anime, but the dad tried to get his dog out of the yellow goop. And then when he was like pulling it, the dog was like, his mouth was bleeding, his eyes was rolling to the back of his head. Right at the last final tug, he pulled the freaking dog's head off, and I'm like, no, not the puppy. Ah, God. The way they censored that scene, it was actually understandable, really, because it's a dog getting his head ripped off. And I feel bad for the kid because he just witnessed his dog getting decapitated. And Rubber Soul says, no matter how fast you may be, no matter how strong you may be, it's absolutely useless before Yellow Temperance. You can't defeat me. You can't even run unless you cut off your right hand. And then he says this, do you understand? As Yellow Temperance then latches even more onto Jotaro, trapping him inside the cable car. He has one more trick up his sleeve. It is Joestar family's philosophy when it comes to fighting. And that one strategy is Nigeru dayo! Well, technically he said Nigeru, but you know what I mean, run away. I really did like this because it gave a bit of an homage to Battle Tendency. when Joseph, the second Jojo, would always do that one strategy, would always like run away, going like this, like "Nigeru da yo!" So I really did like that. So Star Platinum punches the floor of the cable car, falls into the water, taking Rubber Soul and Yellow Temperance with him. So even though Rubber Soul said, "Oh, my stand has no weaknesses," there is actually one weakness, and that involves with the stand user. Because even though Yellow Temperance can protect his stand user in terms of any attacks, it cannot protect him underwater because he needs to breathe. So at the surface of the water, Jotaro tells Rubber Soul, no matter how invincible your stand may be, if I defeat the user, the stand will die too. Do you understand? That was a bit of a payback for what he said earlier. Jotaro proceeds to beat the crap out of him physically, just himself, not Star Platinum, which is great because we haven't actually seen him doing the attacking, because most of the time it was Star Platinum. So he punches Rubber Soul's face so hard, you can see like a tooth flying out, and there's like blood like spewing out of his mouth, and then he elbows him in the face, breaking his nose. And this is when Rubber Soul gets all pathetic, saying, "Please don't hurt me, I surrender," and all that crap. Like, so just like Devo in the previous episode, he was also one of the hired assassins. In fact, Dio has sent a reward $100 million if they kill Jotaro and the others. I don't know if Dio really has all that money. If he does have all that money, where the hell did he even get it? Jotaro interrogates Rubber Soul to learn about the other stand users. Rubber Soul, at first, it seems that he has some sort of sense of honor because he wasn't gonna rat them out. But all Jotaro has to do was raise his fist, which causes Rubber Soul to be like, no, I'll talk. Yeah, all that honor flew out the window. I mean, for fuck's sakes, even Devo has more honor than this guy, and this guy was shredded into pieces by Silver Chariot, and he has a freaky-ass doll for a stand. The remaining stand users are Death, the Empress, Emperor, and the Hangman. However, he doesn't tell Jotaro about the stand's abilities because even he doesn't know what they do. Apparently, Dio's minions never reveal each other their stand's abilities, because it would expose their weaknesses, which, you know, does really make sense. I mean, if you want to keep your stand's abilities a secret when you're facing off an opponent, you don't want to reveal too much about it, otherwise their weaknesses can be easily figured out. But Rubber Soul does know. But there was one person that Rubber Soul knows, and that happens to be the stand user for the Hangman, which turns out to be Polnareff sister's killer. The man with the two right hands. His name was Geil. At least that's what the Japanese dub was saying. In the English subtitles, they called him Centerfold. I'm guessing it's another copyright thing. So I'm gonna stick with Geil. I don't know, it just sounds a bit better in terms of an actual name. However, his stand ability is not really revealed. All we know about it so far is that he uses a mirror. So the Hangman can use mirrors. So does it like attack using mirrors? Does it use its reflections or something? I'm not sure. In actuality, the fight is not really over yet, as Rubber Soul notices something, and he tells Jotaro to look at that drainage pipe over there where the crawfish is, which he looks over there, and then Yellow Temperance slowly seeped out of the opening and then latches onto Jotaro once again. Apparently, when Jotaro was just looking at the drainage pipe, Rubbers used this opportunity to get to the manhole cover to seep Yellow Temperance from the manhole cover into the sewer right out of the drainage pipe. He basically pulled a, "Hey, what's that over there?" on Jotaro. Are you fucking kidding me? So what he actually plans to do with Jotaro is pull it into the tiny drainage pipe. And then you hear this theme, like whenever Jotaro or Star Platinum does something really cool, that theme always plays. So basically Star Platinum just surrounds his hand with water, and using the sheer force of his punch, forces the water into the drainage pipe all the way up to the manhole cover, bursting right through the manhole cover, blasting Rubber Soul right up into the air. Also, his head gets hit with the manhole cover as he falls into the water once again. Jotaro grabs onto his head and Rubber Soul's like, "Oh, I was just kidding. You're not gonna hurt me anymore, are you?" And then Jotaro then says, "I have nothing more to say to you. You're too pathetic." And before he could finish his sentence, it fades to black, and he finished his sentence saying, "to talk to anymore." And then after that, Star Platinum beating the living shit out of Rubber Soul. Oh my god, it was so freaking awesome. So that's basically it from Yellow Temperance and Rubber Soul. 3 down, 4 to go. Jotaro and the other go on the train to head to India. And they left behind Anne, by the way, because they assumed that she met with his father. But according to Polnareff, she might be lying. Why would she lie about this? I don't know. Maybe she's starting to like the group. And when I mean the group, I mean Jotaro, because at the end of the episode, we see her in the train sleeping and murmurs, Jojo. Yeah, we got ourselves another female character that has the hots for Jotaro, but in this case it's understandable, but then again, she's a kid, so eh. So are we gonna see more of Anne later on? I honestly have no idea. I don't know why she's following them, and if she was lying about her father being in Singapore, where are her parents this whole time? Are they back in Hong Kong? Why would she run away from her parents if that were the case? But well, who knows? But even though the episode ended there, we actually get another scene with Kakyoin where he asks Jotaro if he could have a cherry, and then this is where I lost it because he also does the leo 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 leo. What makes it even funnier is Jotaro has this like disgusted look on his face, probably because of the whole fiasco with Rubber Soul. I don't know, it's really funny, and honestly, I found it very odd that Kakyoin also does this too. But if this is how he really eats his cherries, then how does Rubber Soul know about that? Unless they both eat cherries like that? I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much on this. So yeah, that is episode 9 of Stardust Crusaders. What did I think? I honestly liked the episode. It was very enjoyable. Not the best one I've seen so far because there were some parts of it that were kind of slow, especially with the phone conversation between Anne and Joseph. I mean, there was a moment where he said that the Kakyoin you're with is a fake, which is, yeah, freaking obvious, but yeah, what are you gonna do? But I did like some of the additional scenes that they added that weren't in the manga, like Kakyoin's whereabouts, while a fake Kakyoin was with Jotaro and Anne. Yellow Temperance is a very unique stand, and I do like its ability, but I wish Rubber Soul used it to its fullest extent. But considering how the series has been going as of late, he's just a 1-episode villain. As for Rubber Soul, personally, I don't know, I didn't really like him that much. I like his stand, but not the actual stand user. I mean, he does love to joke around, even though he's not really joking. He's a bit of a coward whenever he's in a pinch. And he's always bragging and gloating about his stand having no weaknesses. There was even like moments where he would go, where he called Jotaro Jotaro-kun or Jotaro-senpai. Actually, he used those honorifics when he would disguise himself as fake Kakyoin. So that's another way you can tell that the Kakyoin was fake, because Kakyoin would always refer to Jotaro as Jojo. Even though I thought the fight was good, not the best one I've seen so far, it was still enjoyable, especially near the end with Star Platinum, and I'm really loving Star Platinum whenever he beats the crap out of his opponents. I don't know why, it's just so cool. The OST is good as always, and the voice acting was really good. I especially have to give kudos to Daisuke Hirakawa for voice acting as the fake Kakyoin. He did a really good job at that. The whole cherry thing with the leo thing, it was so funny. I freaking lost it when it was shown the second time. And the animation was, once again, pretty good as always. I was a bit iffy with the fake Kakyoin's jaw breaking, the censorship on that, but it was tolerable at least. The name change from Geil to Centerfold, I know this is another one of those copyright things, but I'm a bit iffy with some of the name changes, if you ask me. And speaking of Geil, next week's episode, we're gonna get the first multi-part arc of this series, and I'm really looking forward to it because not only are they going to face off against one stand user, but 2! Because next week's episode is the Hangman and the Emperor. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the stand user for the Emperor is and what the Emperor can do. That I'm really looking forward to seeing. Plus, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they're going to animate their adventure in India. Not only that, but we're going to get to see Geil and the Hangman and see what his stand can really do, and I'm really looking forward to that because more Polnareff! Tell me guys, what did you think of this episode? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What are your thoughts on Rubber Soul and his stand Yellow Temperance? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like the video if you like it and subscribe for more videos, and be sure to check out my Facebook fan page and Google+, and my backup channel whenever you get the chance. So that is Stardust Crusaders episode 9. I'm Leader Spawn 27, and I will see you guys later. Bye.